Hey, Yo Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners. Welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. People, we put up an episode earlier tonight. We had to put another one out real quick. Our snap reactions to the Raw Netflix debut. What an interesting show. First off, thoroughly confused show opening with The Rock walking out and essentially going full-on babyface despite all the storyline that he did last year and the cliffhanger with him and Cody after WrestleMania. I don't understand that at all, but it was great to see how the fans loved and appreciated The Rock, and he did a lot of great things tonight on the show, and I love the fact that he'll be at NXT tomorrow night. Moving on from The Rock, opening the show with Tribal Combat thoroughly surprised me. I thought it was a fantastic decision. I love the decisive final pinning, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Ula Fala being passed back to Roman Reigns, and that hopefully closes the door on that so we can move on to Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns at some place in the close to near future. I actually thought they may have done the Rock Roman thing again and then chose not to, which I found very intriguing also because it's almost like a missed opportunity, but it makes me think that The Rock may not be doing WrestleMania now like a lot of people suspected he may not be doing. So, have to keep our eyes on that. I love the KO getting involved. I loved all of that. And I really thought that the Bloodline and Bloodline 2.0 getting involved was it was the right amount. It wasn't too much, wasn't too little. Pretty good deal right there. And I really appreciated the presentation. Moving on to the stars that were in attendance. I love the fact that they had so many people. Some of them surprised me. I did not expect to see Nikki Bella there. I did not expect to see a lot of the talent that was there. The movie stars, the way they really hyped them up. I mentioned on the previous episode, The Undertaker was in town. When Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley go out and have an absolute banger, and then they close it out the way they did, definitively, hopefully ending that feud as well. I liked a little bit with Dominic at the end, but then having The Undertaker come out and pay tribute, basically, and pass the torch in a lot of ways to Rhea Ripley, I thought that was a perfect use of The Undertaker. Hate to say it, starting to look a little older as he goes, but that's what happens. Father Time catches up with everybody. And then when you move on past that, seeing a lot of the stars in the crowd that would normally be on Raw, I thought it was a good use of them if you weren't going to put them in a match. I mentioned on a previous episode, I thought they should have done some kind of massive like battle royal or something to get them involved. This worked because at least you got to see the faces and you have some recognition now when they come on future episodes. A lot of hype for next week, looking at the Women's Intercontinental Championship finals coming up, looking at some of the other matches, the Sheamus Ludwig Kaiser match coming up. All of that was great promoting. I appreciated that. I loved the influx of SmackDown stars on the show, also promoting that program, which I thought was a great use of time. Moving into the Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre match, not a big fan of seeing the vaping in front of the kids. I'm a father. I don't know that I really love that as Jey Uso was coming out, but you cannot deny his popularity. Thought that was a great match. A little clunky in certain spots, but it was still a great match. I was surprised with the ending. I really expected Drew McIntyre to come out with the win. I understand how popular Jey is with the merchandise and everything, but if you want to make Drew like this unstoppable force for the next 12 months, then you should have given him the win. Now, if you're not going to do that, and if you are going to move forward with the Wade Barrett thing that a lot of people hypothesize about, I'd be okay with that. This would be an interesting way to do that because now he's not in a prime position, so fighting Wade Barrett makes a little more sense. So maybe we get to see that. Maybe Barrett comes out in the Royal Rumble and they do something there that leads to a feud heading into Mania. I would pay to see that. That'd be great. No Randy Ortons, no Becky Lynch's, no Charlotte's, no Alexa Bliss, none of the big returns that people were really hoping to see. The one that really caught me off guard was Hulk Hogan coming out, and it shouldn't have surprised me. For those who know me on a personal level, I'm a social studies teacher in my day job, and being that Hulk Hogan heavily campaigned for Donald Trump and they were having a show from California, Los Angeles of all places, Inglewood, did not surprise me that Hogan essentially got booed out of the building. I thought he did the best he could promoting his beer brand and trying to hype up the fans, but they were having none of it because you're in Kamala country. I mean, let's be honest, she's from California. So not surprised with the reaction completely, but I that's probably because I hadn't thought about it ahead of time. And then once it hit me, I was like, oh yeah, duh, of course they're going to boo Hulk Hogan. And who's thought it was a good idea to put him on this show in that location? Probably not the best decision. And then going into the final match of the night, CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Great match, solid back and forth, interesting finish. I thought Punk needed to win this to have any chance of having an incredible match with Roman Reigns, possibly at Mania, hopefully at Mania. If not, then whatever, at some point down the line. Clearly that's going to happen. No more clarity on the favor that Paul Heyman owes him, but I thought all in all, a very solid debut. The only thing I think it lacked was the star power of returning stars. I thought that excitement, that electricity, and I actually had a little bit of hope. I was hoping at the end of Punk Rollins that Becky Lynch would come out and somehow cost CM Punk, because then you could set up the Becky, Seth versus Punk and AJ Lee thing, that another match that people are hypothesizing could really be something special. But that was not in the cards. I did like the Instagram videos they played of The Rock when he was leaving the arena, saying that he was going to be at NXT, and seeing the reactions backstage, him and Triple H, him and Roman, him and Cody. I love the Cody part where Cody said that was the nicest thing you could have done. It felt authentic. It didn't feel like it was staged or anything like that. So, if I'm giving it a rating, I don't usually do the rating system. I hate Dave Meltzer's rating system. I hate most rating systems. But I would honestly say, if I was, as a teacher, if I'm giving this a percentage, let's go that route. Or let's go with letter grade since I'm a teacher. I would give this a solid, B to B plus. I really would. I think it could have been better. I know with all the hype talking about how this was going to be pay-per-view quality, I don't think it hit that. But I did think it was pretty solid for what it was. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out from here on out. But in the meantime, that's all the time we have for this quick reaction episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the debut on Netflix. And until next time, I'll see you in the matches. Crossing the